which to view this spectacle, I thought of a man, by then dead, with whom I had been very intimate, and with whom, as with yourself, I had at one time discussed most things under the sun. He was the English Tory. Even then, it must have been in September 1916, when I was in a region called the Salient, and I remember the very spot where the idea came to me. I said to myself, how would all this look in the eyes of X, already dead, along with all English Tories? For as a medium through which to view struggles that are after all in the end mostly emotional struggles, since as a rule for every 20 minutes of actual fighting you are alone with your emotions, which being English you did not express for at least a month, as a medium, what could be better than the sceptical, not ungenerous, not cold, not unconvincible eyes of an extinct frame of mind? For by the time of my relative youth, when I knew X so intimately, Toryism had gone beyond the region of any practicing political party. It said for a year or two, a plague on all your houses, and so expired. To this determination, to use my friend's eyes as a medium, I am adhering in this series of books. Some do not, of which this one is not so much a continuation as a reinforcement, showed you the Tory at home during wartime. This shows you the Tory going up the line. If I am vouchsafed health and intelligence for long enough, I propose to show you the same man in line and in process of being reconstructed. There is nothing more to it. I no more back the political opinions of General Campion than those of Sylvia Tietjens, who considered that the World War was just an excuse for male apogemonies. I no more accept responsibility for the inaccuracies of Tietjens quoting King's regulations than for the inaccuracies of the General in quoting Henry V. I was roundly taken to task by the only English critic whose review of my last book I read, after he had horribly misrepresented the plot of the work at a crucial point, for my inaccuracy in stating that poor Roger Casement was shot. As a matter of fact, I had been struck by the fact that a lady with whom I had been discussing Casement twice deliberately referred to the shooting of Casement and stated that she did so because she could not bear to think that we had hanged him. In making, therefore, a lady who had loved Casement refer to his execution in the book in question, I let her say that Casement was shot. Indeed, I should prefer to think that he had been shot myself, or still more to think that we had allowed him to escape or commit suicide or be imprisoned during His Majesty's pleasure. The critic preferred to rub in his hanging. It is a matter of relative patriotism. Whilst we are chipping, I may as well say that I have been informed that a lively controversy has raged over the same work in the United States, a New York critic having stated that I was a disappointed man intent on giving a lurid picture of present-day matrimonial conditions in England. I hope I am no rabid patriot, but I pray to be preserved from the aspiration of painting any nation's lurid matrimonial conditions. The peculiar ones adumbrated in Some Do Not were suggested by the fate of a poor fellow living in a place in the south of France in which I happened to be stopping when I began the book. His misfortunes were much those of my central character, but he drank himself to death, it was said deliberately, after he had taken his wife back. He came from Philadelphia. So, in remembrance of our joint labours and conspiracies, and in token of my admiration for your beautiful achievements in another art, I subscribe myself, my dear bird. Your humble, obedient and obliged, F.M.F., Paris, 31st of October, 24, Guermantes, 25th of May, 25. Part 1. Chapter 1. When you came in, the space was desultory, rectangular, warm, after the drip of the winter night, and transfused with a brown-orange dust that was light. It was shaped like the house a child draws. 3 groups of brown limbs spotted with brass took dim highlights from shafts that came from a bucket pierced with holes, filled with incandescent coke and covered in with a sheet of iron in the shape of a tunnel. 2 men, as if hierarchically smaller, crouched on the floor beside the brazier. 4, 2 at each.